The snake talked. The woman listened and ate the fruit, and the man, he stood by and watched. Are you familiar with that story? You know, Adam and Eve, the Garden of Eden, the tree of knowledge of good and evil, the deceiver. In fact, if you read the story, God gave Adam the instructions about the trees, not Eve. Eve wasn't even created when God told Adam to stay away. So even though she knew she was supposed to, we have to assume that Adam, who was standing there watching this whole thing, he was the one that told her and gave her those instructions. You know, there are two kinds of sins. There are sins of commission and sins of omission. Hers was one of commission. She did something, but Adam's sin was one of omission. It's what he didn't do. As a leader or a spouse or a parent, we can be guilty of both. There's no doubt that the failure of a leader because of his actions can be devastating. You don't have to scroll far through your news feed to see a leader whose actions cause pain and harm. In fact, inside your own organization, I'll bet you can see it too. If you look back at your own life, you can see behaviors that in your rearview mirror, you wish you wouldn't have done. But sometimes, I think the greater failure, the greater destruction is when a leader doesn't act. Edmund Burke famously said, the only thing necessary for the triumph of evil is for good men to do nothing. So true of leaders as well. When leaders stand down, the people in their span of care lose. When leaders won't address the poor or destructive behaviors of others, people in their span of care become fearful and lose trust. By the way, the higher you are in the organization, the harder it is to actually make those kind of decisions. As the national sales manager, it's just easier to justify the actions or behaviors of that district manager because, you know, the pressure he's under or because he's actually getting really good results. Sure, you know you need to have a talk with him, and you will someday soon. Someday soon. Yeah, right. Can I give you some encouragement today? Don't be afraid to be a leader of action in your relationships and your work. Fight the urge to be passive in those relationships where it matters most. Fight the urge to justify or look the other way. Step into the uncomfortable, not away from it. Those people that are most important to you at work and at home, they're depending on you to lead and lead with intentionality, compassion, and integrity. And to do that, you must act. You cannot be like Adam and just stand there and watch. Leaders, you make a difference every day, and that difference can be for the better or for worse. That choice is yours. Don't forget, think differently, lead courageously, and live passionately.